So, welcome everybody back here at Veil of Sound. You have seen yesterday that we announced our special for the Celestial Diadem Weekender next weekend. And of course, as always, when we do stuff like that, we want to give you that little tidbit extra. And as we always proclaim to lift the veil from underground music, and we try to champion the little band and the bands that are on the move upwards, we thought, okay, we want to get an interview with two bands. This is the first one. I will not disclose who is the next one, but I can disclose that it's going to be in 2 days. So today we are going to talk with Ryan and Phill from Wildernesses. So first of all, thanks for joining, guys.
Thank you. You got it in one go.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Yeah. I
Lots of syllables.
Again, please, Phill. What did you say?
I'm just saying, it's a lot of syllables. It's lots of syllables.
Yeah. I mean, like coming with a job being an English teacher, I should be able to do that. But anyway, so first thing here on the Veil of Sound is something that we always do, and that is called the pluck of the day. You can pluck a band or a project that you think deserves more attention. Of course, no project or band that you are in. I'll give you my plug of the day first, so that you can think for a moment. And I always try to look for similarities or other connections to bands. I will not disclose the connection that you have with my plug of the day. We'll come to it later. But I would like to pluck Pijn. P-I-J-N. I think, although they are not the smallest kind of band, but I think they definitely deserve a little bit more. So, Philip, Ryan, who wants to go first, and which band would you like to plug?
Go for it, Phill.
All right. So I'm going to plug a band called Outlander, who I'm obsessed with at the moment. An unbelievable band. So underrated. 2 phenomenal albums. I've just been listening to The Valley Machine today. Absolutely in love with that album. Amazing.
Yeah. Really, really good band. That's true. That definitely is true. Ryan, yours?
Yeah, it's a great pick. And if I didn't pick Outlander, which I probably would have, then I would probably pick a band who shouted us out recently, actually, Lost Velvet. Lost Velvet, they're kind of a sort of grungy, shoegaze, dream pop duo, really interesting sound, and we're actually bringing them for their first ever live show, supporting us on our album release show in March. They gave us a shout out recently, and they're super lovely and also awesome. So I thought I'd give them a little cheeky plug.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned it. You are releasing your first full length on March 27th through Floodlit Recordings. And here, some people might already have the connection to Pijn, but we'll come to that in a moment. Yeah, cool. So, I mean, like you had already a couple of singles out before, and there was one thing that I have to ask, like an icebreaker. One of your new songs is called Maintenance. So, who in the band is the guy with the highest level of necessary maintenance, and who is the one with lowest maintenance?
This is great.
I think I know Ryan would answer this, but yeah, Ryan, you go.
Oh, great, putting me on the spot. So I'm just curious, Torsten. So what do you mean highest level of maintenance?
Who's the princess in the band?
Who's the diva?
Oh, controversial. I feel unfair to Phill to sort of put the
I like that. I like that the crown. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've got a bad back. I'm not a young man.
Yeah.
I need to stay in a good bed. And not have 3 people speaking to me at the same time stresses me out. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a diva on occasion. Lowest maintenance, Ryan. I would say you, who will sleep anywhere and they'll turn up for an overnight stay with a pair of pants, not a toothbrush, and be fine with it.
Yeah, pretty much on the money there. We were joking, like, because we were booking our tour, which we're doing around the album in March, and I'm kind of like, oh yeah, well, there's a venue called JT Saw in Nottingham, and they used to kind of let bands like just sleep in the attic, basically, like just. And I'm perfectly happy with that kind of idea, but I sort of raised that to Phill, and he very instantly sort of swiped it down and was like, "Nope, I'm getting a swanky hotel."
I'm totally in line with Phill on that one.
Yeah.
Also, like going to a festival and not having a bed to sleep. No.
Oh yeah, well you can't not have an airbed. That's just madness.
Oh no, forget it. No, a bed, not an airbed. An airbed is not a bed. It's like a mattress.
Forget really? No. Oh, okay, nice.
No. I totally understand Phill there. Totally. It doesn't have to be a hotel. It can also be like an apartment, but anything. But I need to have a real bed. Otherwise, I'm the diva, definitely. But as I'm also always the one who's driving from to and fro.
I'm with you.
Nobody disagrees with me. The other thing that struck me when I looked at some of your press shots, at some of the covers for the singles that you've released before, I had the feeling as if I was looking at a band that fell out of the 80s in a way. It has a kind of nostalgic quality in a way. Is that something that is just the strange observance from my side, or is there something to it?
I've not heard that before.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, I'd say that. Yeah, I love the comment because I do most of the design works. I'm not a graphic designer by trade. I'm a mental health social worker, but I've loved graphic design and done it on the side for probably about 10 years, maybe a little longer. And I'm pretty obsessed with 80s aesthetic, to be honest. It wasn't an intentional decision, but I felt like the tone fits the washy nature of our music, So we're going with kind of slightly bleak, kind of pretty, but with definitely with the kind of old school flavor. So 80s, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at the cover for 4 Hour Drive, the green tone that you chose is like basically straight out of a color palette of the Smiths.
Yeah, and it's actually a photo from the 60s of my grandfather and my dad. Oh. So I felt like having we could have put a modern spin on it, but it felt like it should embrace that color palette. Yeah. It felt right.
And the cool thing is you gave us basically already the first 3 singles of Growth, your upcoming record. When it comes to that, and you've already hinted at it, Phill, there is a certain kind of shoegaziness, for lack of a better word. Is that music that inspires you as a band? Like shoegaze, no matter if it's 80s or 90s?
Ryan, I'm conscious of not speaking too much. So.
No, man, I'm happy for you to. You've got a ton of influences, and I don't really want to. But like, I'll start. But like, Phill has like a ton of influence. So yes, shoegaze. We absolutely love shoegaze, but there's also like tons of non-shoegaze influences that go into this as well. Like Phil's a massive Bon Iver fan, and can obviously speak to that a lot more. But kind of like that sort of conventional, but almost like there's a bit of an arty quality to it, right? But like conventional pop music that we draw influence from that moves outside the realm of the shoegazy kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of crossover Yeah, for me, there's a lot of crossover in tone between. So I'm big into post rock, post metal.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, there's a connection issue there. Yeah, for poor old Phill, who's just about to get stuck into his answer.
I'm really minimal R&B producer, and he basically could have come out of the 80s, but he's really, really current. And I've always
sorry for interrupting you, but I think you have to start again because you were frozen somewhere shortly after post metal.
Okay. Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So yeah, I love heavy and interesting rock music, but I'm also a big fan of I guess mainstream 80s power pop, Kate Bush and Genesis. I love Prince, and there are a couple of producers and artists. So I love Bon Iver. Justin Vernon uses quite a lot of the same qualities that post rock embody. So a lot of shimmer, a lot of wash, big cinematic sounds, kind of warm textured, which is like kind of the 80s vibe. And there are a couple of alt R&B producers and artists that I'm absolutely obsessed with. One called Dijon and one called Blood Orange. Both really, really popular, like mega in their scene. Yeah, and we really tried to sort of write interesting rock music, the rock music that we wanted to, without too much focus on a specific genre influence, you know, because we're all influenced by a million different things. And the shoegaze thing is almost something that we kind of referenced after. So we kind of wrote a few songs, and then thought, actually, this is probably closest fit to the shoegaze genre, which meant that I personally listened to a lot more kind of gaze and shoegaze bands to kind of get my head into what was going on in the kind of current scene. I was already into bands like Slow Crush, who are kind of shoegaze band, and Deftones, I guess, are considered shoegaze, who I'm, again, one of my favorite bands of all time. So yeah, I guess there's a massive influence there, and it's something we're kind of leaning into a bit. But it wasn't an intentional let's write shoegaze kind of agreement between the band. There's definitely flavour though. Yeah, agree.
And at the same time, sorry, Ryan, I wanted to ask you, is there like a band, a project, maybe even a drummer per se, as a person and as a drummer, that you take some inspiration from, where you say like, okay, like some of the prog heroes from the 70s, or some other stuff like Danny Carey from Tool, or other great drummers all around the world? Is there somebody that you look up to, you take inspiration from?
Yeah, I mean, Danny Carey is like, he's just a hero of mine. I've loved Tool for decades. And yeah, I mean, I absolutely hugely influenced by Danny Carey. There's just so much, like, rhythmically, he does a lot. So, but the interesting thing is, right, like, I'm a huge like fan of prog and drummers like Danny Carey. But the interesting thing with this was, like, I mean, you kind of have to pare it back a little bit, you know, in terms of like drumming style. So I do fills, and I'll be a bit more playful. Is probably the most kind of crazy I get in a song. But yeah, this was a really interesting kind of process for me with Wildernesses, because you have to sort of make it a lot more, just kind of draw it back to simplicity, right? And then kind of build back up and sort of think, why does this fit here? There's a section in our song 4 Hour Drive. It's a real like kind of slowcore kind of like, taking things back a lot and just like letting those notes really ring. So yeah, things like that, which I've kind of learned actually on this process. But the other drummer I would, Phill mentioned Deftones. Abe Cunningham from Deftones is a massive influence on me. So yeah, I'd shout those two guys out.
I also took that Tool comparison to put a little Easter egg into this interview, because the band that I'm going to interview in a few minutes, and whose interview we will be publishing in 2 days, I'm not going to say who, basically stole a Tool drum line in one of their songs. I'm not going to say which one. I'll clue it up in 2 days. If you already have a clue, then you're really good. Something that we should also mention: Wildernesses is not a band by people who. This is not your first band. Most of you, I think all of you, basically have been in bands before. We have people from Earth Moves. Some of you were in We Never Learned to Live, right? No, yeah, We Never Learned to Live. So is that also something that where you said, like, okay, we already are experienced as musicians, and now let's throw all our skills, all our experience into a new blender and come up with something different?
Yeah, kind of. It was interesting, an interesting start to the project, because none of us, the current lineup actually, the guitarist Sam and the bass player Mark knew each other prior. I didn't know anybody in the band. It was a project that the original guitarist started, pulled three people together. We started writing, and then he decided that he had basically other life priorities and was unable to commit to the pressure of being in a band. So we got Sam in, the new lead guitarist, who's been in the band about 9 months now. But yeah, personally, I didn't know anybody in the band prior, so it's been a real learning curve getting to know how we all operate. And yes, we're all from kind of heavier backgrounds, so we've had to have a lot of discussion about how we're going to write, like forming processes that work for us all, and listen to each other's opinions. You know, communication's always the biggest challenge, isn't it? And when there's 4 people with strong ideas, sometimes you can never come to an agreement. So I think we've come to an absolutely sick point where we're all on the same page, and we know exactly what this project is now, based on what we'd written and what we were all happy with. So we tell each other off for doing too much often, or, you know, we're really great with really brutally honest feedback, and be like that. Yeah, you're wanking all over. It doesn't need that ridiculous lead line. Take it out. Let's lean into the melody. So yeah, we're very firm on the brief, because it's so easy to play heavy for musicians that have been in heavy projects. It's so easy, and it's fun. It's fun. There are heavy bits to our songs, but
definitely,
if cut loose, you know, and just if we were all just doing exactly what we wanted in the moment, I guess you quite easily just smash out a load of riffs, blast beats, whatever it might be, and the texture's lost. You know, the dynamic's lost. The brood is lost. Yeah, so it's been fun, but yeah, I feel like we've got there, which is great.
Then I have 2 questions connected to that. So would you agree that basically the atmosphere is more important than the riff in Wildernesses?
I would agree. Yeah, Ryan, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think so. There's a vibe we want people to sort of feel when they're listening to our stuff, right? And that vibe is like it's both recorded, but it's, you know, it's a recording that's capturing the live feel. So I've said it before to another interviewer who asked about this kind of thing. It's like we want people to the recorded thing that we're doing. We want people to kind of actually experience that live as well. So there's so much in that, you know, the tone of the guitars, and just really kind of like, you know, Phil's got another Strymon pedal on his pedal board now. You know, you can probably show it to you right now.
I'll show you if you want. Hello.
Boom.
Oh, come on. There are bigger pedal boards than that one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you're right, Ryan. I think I'd say I spend more time on tone than I do on writing riffs. Not to say that we don't spend a lot of time on the riffs, but yeah. I guess what is more important to this project is use of melody and placement of melody, rather than we can. I feel like we're blessed in that we can pull like awesome riffs out our backside if we want. A guitarist, Sam, and I. Ryan's a great guitarist as well as drummer. And the bass player, Mark, is also a great guitarist. But yeah, the I feel like for me, in terms of what we're trying to achieve in terms of atmospheric project, placement is absolutely everything. And switching, and one of the elements of post-rock that I love is building tension, so that like the push and pull, the tension and the release. So yeah, the riff is important, but the play.
There he goes again. But as I said, I have a second question connected to something that Phill said before, that kind of restraint. I mean, like, your new record is called Growth. Is that also some kind of statement that you as a band have grown into?
Important in order to achieve that.
Oh, I think.
Okay. There you're back again. I wanted to ask whether the record title, Growth, is in a way a bit programmatic in the sense of, okay, we have grown into this lineup, we have grown into our position in the band, and we have grown also into this sound. Is there some kind of programmatic thing about the title? Maybe Ryan goes next.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think on all those fronts, right? Like, as Phill said, we didn't know each other kind of going into this project. It's actually quite mad just to think. I mean, we chat every day now, and like we're all like best mates. But we didn't know each other until this thing started via the original lead guitarist. But yeah, I mean, we've all grown as not just band members, but as people through this process. I was never, I never booked shows before we started Wildernesses. Now I'm booking a tour for the band, which has been a very interesting. Sometimes, it's a thankless task sometimes, but you have to grind and you have to kind of put the work in. And the end result is you get to play in front of people, and it's fucking awesome. But yeah, there's so much kind of like personal growth, and I think thematically, and Phill can talk to the lyrical content, but there's a lot of like moments that you'll kind of see in the lyrics to some of the songs where there are moments of observing like events in life and not kind of like drawing conclusions and like making statements about what those events should mean for people, but just making a note of that, right? Like there's so much to be said about how the day-to-day shapes us. So yeah, but yeah, I like the title. Phill came up with it though, so I can't take credit for it.
And Phill, I mean, like, you've already mentioned it, Ryan already hinted at it, you are writing the lyrics, and as far as I remember, or as far as I understood it, the lyrics are also a kind of a way for you to cope with your probably mentally exhausting job being a mental health advisor. Is the band something where you say, like, okay, it's not my therapy, but I can get things off my chest?
Yeah, I guess in a way. I think I use writing so I'm a social worker by trade. So I did a 2-year master's. And one of the key elements of social work is reflection, and it's just nailed into you, like reflection. So, improve your practice, be observant of people's needs. You need to reflect in order to highlight an outcome that somebody wants to achieve and how to get there. Just going in all guns blazing doesn't work. So I think I've been doing that 10 years, and I embody that in my day-to-day life without even knowing it. So when I write, I find that I'm often not writing with a purpose to say, hey, look, this is a political song, or this is a song about how fucked up your mental health system is in the UK. I think it's more powerful personally just to capture a story or a feeling and reflect on it by observing it. So I guess it is therapeutic. I find the process of writing itself therapeutic, and re-editing, editing, focusing in and improving. I find that absolutely clears my mind and takes me away from all the bullshit going on in my life. So, yeah, I guess the lyrics often hint at or touch upon people's mental distress or problematic lives, but that's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I kind of intentionally don't want to sensationalize anything. I'm just trying to reflect humanity, basically, and capture little snapshots of that in lyrical form, in song form. Yeah.
And also capture your surrounding. And as you said, it just basically is life, right? So for everybody who hasn't known too much about Wilderness, I hope you now learned something. Of course, the guys are not allowed to go without the quickfire round at the end, but you guys are playing on Sunday, the last day of Celestial Diadem Weekender. I'm not sure if you're going to be there before, but out of all the bands that are playing that weekend, next weekend, which band are you looking forward to seeing the most?
I'm happy to go first. I'm actually really excited to see Mountainscape. They've got like a string trio that they're bringing with them, and it looks sick. They shared a video the other day, and yeah, I can't wait to experience that. I mean, they're obviously awesome without a string trio, but yeah, having that is just adds so much quality.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll let Phill go now.
Phill?
That, but I guess Dinner Celestial Birds on the Friday. I've listened to quite a lot on record, but I've never actually seen live. I've met a couple of the guys at other shows, so yeah, very keen to see them rip up the stage because they're supposed to be mega live.
And the quick fire round at the end. I'll always give you two alternatives. You have to choose one. Give a very short explanation for your choice. And as you are two persons, it's only 5 questions. Normally we do 10. This time it's only 5. I'll start with the shoegaze stuff. Slowdive versus My Bloody Valentine.
I'm going to say Slowdive. I'm just going to jump in. Yeah.
Absolutely My Bloody Valentine, 100%. I like Slowdive, but yeah, pips it. The pip it.
Let's stick with the shoegaze thing a little bit. Cocteau Twins versus Lush.
I'll say Cocteau Twins. I don't know. I haven't actually heard Lush, so Phill has.
Now you got something to do.
Yeah,
Phill.
Phenomenal, yeah.
But we didn't hear your
serious
answer.
Vibes there.
Can you say your answer again? Who would you choose?
Cocteau Twins, serious vibes, yeah.
Yeah.
Cocteau Twins for me as well. Mega vibes.
Then I'll give you 2 artists who are basically 1 or 2 generations apart from each other, but who very often give me similar vibes. Bon Iver versus Nick Drake.
I think we know Phil's answer, but Phill is currently frozen, so I want to say Bob Bon Iver.
Yeah, he's also going to say Bon Iver, right?
Yeah. Is he back? Are you back, Phill?
I'm here.
Okay.
Ryan already gave the answer for you for the last one because it was Bon Iver versus Nick Drake, and he is very sure that it would be Bon Iver.
No question.
I got 2 more. Let's start with the older one. Kate Bush versus Peter Gabriel.
Ooh.
And I'm choosing that because they work together on songs. So that's why I'm choosing that one. And for me, that would be very easy.
It is hard, but
no.
I just feel... Yeah. Peter Gabriel for me. I kind of love the cheesy vibes. So yeah, Peter Gabriel for me.
Me too. My partner's obsessed with my partner's obsessed with Peter Gabriel era Genesis, so I have to say Peter Gabriel.
Because the other one doesn't count. Genesis was one of the best bands of all time, as long as Collins kept his mouth shut. There's no question about that. And the last one. So I thought like, okay, let's give them 2 really, really big bands. And for me, my choice is based on life experience. So I'll give you The Cure versus Radiohead.
I'm gonna
go Ryan.
I'll say Radiohead.
It's a toughie. Yeah, me too. I have to. I think I love the songs of the Cure songs that I love. I absolutely adore. I love Disintegration as a record, but Radiohead consistently awesome. I have to say Radiohead.
Yeah, for me it will always be Radiohead because the best concert of my life. Unfortunately, also the saddest concert of my life. Radiohead Berlin 2001 on 9/11.
Damn.
Oh
man.
Wow. That's an emotive event. Wow.
Yeah, a friend of mine wrote for a German magazine, and he wrote, "This was not a concert. This was mess."
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for all your detailed answers for everybody. March 27th, Grove, and we have to clue it up still. So the guys are releasing on Floodlit Recordings, which is basically the Pine album, not the Pine album, the Pine label. So there is the connection why I chose that. There are also sometimes a few sound similarities, but not often because Pine is much, much clearer post-rock or post-metal. But if anybody wants to listen to a cool, new, for lack of a better word, shoegaze record in March, I from the bottom of my heart, recommend Wilderness's debut album, March 27th, Growth. Guys, thanks for your time. Enjoy the Weekender and rip some stage for us.
Thank you, dude. Good chatting to you.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.